Interesting. What we've been, we have had Lloyd Pye on before, and he informed us of a lot that was happening with the Starchild Skull. But it's a real honor to have the actual owner of the Starchild Skull here with us tonight. And how did you ever come across being the owner of the Starchild Skull?
Well, that's a real interesting story. One of my girlfriends at work, her husband knew the person who actually found the skulls, both of them, in Mexico, so the story goes. And he had them, upon talking about my history with neonatal children as a nurse, he wanted me to look at it, and so I took a look at it, and he said, well, you know people who can handle it. Well, I just give it to you, get it out of my hair, and you figure out what it is. I said, thank you. And that's been a 14-year, 15-year battle now.
I'll betcha. Eh? Anything new on that front?
Really new on, we're doing the DNA testing. The Fox P2 is very, very interesting. The significance of that new event, new findings are just phenomenal. And we have our new member of our team, Matthew Brownstein, and we're just chugging along, trying to get the funding, get more people interested. Do the funding so that we can finish up this project. I really anticipate if we get the funding, from just a general population, we're just looking for 5, 10, 15, 20 bucks, a person. We get enough of those people involved, then I suspect within the next year we'll have an answer.
Wouldn't that be great?
That will be great.
And what is the, how do I say it? What does it look like right now? Does it look like that there's a possibility that it's a deformed human?
No.
No? Okay.
I will tell you that definitively it has never looked like just a normal, if you will, a normal deformity.
Right.
It's been my experience, and
we're losing sound there.
Can only survive with a minimum of 3 genetic deformities. Mm-hmm. And if you look at everything we're finding, the deformities that we are seeing, we have over 15 just structural deformities, and that's not counting the DNA variations in the FOXP2. Right. So there is no way that this could be a deformed human being at all. And I will stand behind that no matter what. Right. Until something proves me otherwise. But as we stand right now, there is no way this could just be a simple deformity.
You mentioned at the beginning of the program that there was 2 skulls.
Yes.
And what's the other one?
The other one is definitely DNA proves that it is a female. I don't remember what the age they say she was when she passed away, but it is a female human, genetically of the same genetic background as people of in Mexico, from the same haplo group from Mexico.
And these 2 skulls were found together?
They were found together, supposedly in a mind. The normal human complete skeleton was found laying on top of the ground, and out of a mound of dirt there was a deformed hand coming out of the ground, and they were kind of like holding hands, right, if you will. And the young lady dug up the small grave and found the entire skeleton, and the story has it that she says that it was completely deformed, unusual shaped, and she collected everything and was going to bring it home, but hiding the remains, there was a rainfall everything was washed away, and then the next day is all she could find were the skulls, and she brought them home.
Wow. Wow. So it looks like there might have been a humanoid or a human person with this star child at the time
Yes.
of the death, right?
At the time of at least at the time of the burial.
Yeah, right,
Assuming at the time of the death, it only makes sense.
right, right, right. Wow, that's just so fascinating to hear the possibility of something outside this planet, uh, you know, still the remains still existing.
Considering it's over 900 years old, it is very fascinating,
Yeah.
very promising.
Hmm. I know that um, the work that you do is very, very important because there's a lot on YouTube of giants and skeletons like this that have been
Mm-hmm.
proved to be hoaxes, and not all of them, of course, but a lot of them. So there's always that skepticism there that people look at it and say, "Wow, I wonder about the Starchild Skull," and the work that you're doing then will actually prove that it is not human.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at everything we've done to this point, there is, pretty much no doubt. But that being said, getting the mainstream scientists to understand and to accept it
Hmm.
are two different things.
Right,
So until we get the full DNA and get it analyzed, then we can't. They're not going to accept it.
right.
They haven't accepted new stuff in a very long time. So it's going to require a lot of um, proof, if you will, a lot of scientific proof. The DNA is the only thing that's going to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yeah, yeah. I can see that, and it's very unfortunate that the scientific community will not accept a lot of the different finds, not only with the Starchild Skull, but with many, many different things. And it goes along with our social system as far as I'm concerned,
Yeah.
because, I worked in law
Mm-hmm.
um, for many years, and when if five people were eyewitnesses and saw something, then that person was going down. It was just
Right.
a given that
Mm-hmm.
that is proof that that person committed the crime. Yet we got 5 million people who have seen UFOs, and it doesn't seem to be enough proof.
Yeah.
You know.
It's very strange how a court of law will do it, but then the court of popular opinion or mainstream or the powers that be will not believe.
Right, right. Well, I
What?
think that they got us living in a hypnotic trance that we just accept exactly what CNN says is fact, and that's it.
Yeah.
I saw
Hmm.
it on TV. That's it.
Right.
And
Unless it's something like this, and then, oh, well, no, it can't be.
yeah, well, of course it can't be. That's writing and photographs for the Esquire
Yeah.
Enquirer magazine.
Right.
It's I'm sure they made up stories already that the Starchild Skull was from the Orion system and it did this and that, and the people are still here on Earth, and
Yeah, I don't think I have not heard of any of those type of rags, if you will, hanging onto anything from the Star Child. I've not heard of that, but who's to say they haven't or haven't tried something like this?
Well, it's subject to tabloid
It
journalism.
is. It really is.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be. It should be, be looked at much more serious. And the price that they want is just ridiculous to be able to get DNA testing done properly and the scientific, the work done that needs to be done in the Starchild Skull. And you'd think that some of these people would donate their time and efforts towards something like this.
Well, our geneticist is donating his time, which is why it's taking so long to get it done,
Hmm.
because he has a real job. He has to
Yeah,
put food on the table, and he cannot put his name out there because his job would be in jeopardy,
yeah.
as you can understand.
Well, yeah, of course. And
So,
because it's not mainstream. And,
hmm
it's he'd be known as the mad scientist in the basement,
right.
right? And,
Yeah.
you got to stay away from that sort of thing, too.
You got to put food on the table, and you can't blame them for that.
Well, no, you can't. It's very, very important that we play the game that they want us to play. Otherwise, we don't eat.
Yeah, and we need the credibility, so we don't need anybody to go off half cocked without the total proof. Because we've already got people that know this, but we don't have those letters behind our names. Therefore, nobody listens to us.
Right. And how long do you think this is going to take?
Once we get the money and we can hire the lab outright and we can get the computer time to do the analysis that we need it to do, we have the DNA.
Right.
That's not a question. We have it. We just need to do the analysis of it now.
Right.
We've already been working with supercomputers, but we've bogged it up. We've got a bottleneck because there is so much information that there is no reference to.
Right.
That we can't get that program down. We can't get the information through the computer and get the details that we need out of it. So all we need is the funding, which could be, as right now I think we're asking for $75,000 just to get the lab hired. And then, we're going to take it one step at a time. Let's get the lab hired. Let's get the computer time that we need and a programmer to do it. And then we'll go from there.
Right.
And that's what we're hoping to launch is our an Indigo.com crowdfunding, which will be launched next week.
Oh, good.
Middle of next week.
Right. And that's the amount you've asked for then? It's about $75,000?
About 75. Don't quote me on that.
No. Okay.
I'm on the radio. But it's in somewhere in that range. It's in a something that's not going to be mind-boggling to people. Oh, I can't do $1 million, but yes, you can do 12. And so with your donations and with the public's donations, we do have gifts and stuff, thank you gifts, if you will, for the amount of donations that you're getting. So if anybody's interested, go to our website, www.starchildproject.com, and there's a link right to the donation sites, and that'll get you where you need to be.
Well, that sounds terrific. Do you have any idea of where this came from?
It came from the vicinity of Delicias, Mexico, which is close to the Copper Canyon region. Which is very well known for having the UFO phenomenon. The star seed, star children, hybrid children, folklore goes way back. Right. And so that's kind of where we came up with the name Starchild, even though we know that that the actual skull is not of a child.
Right. Now, how old would you say it is?
The carbon dating shows that it's over 900 years old. Plus or minus 40 years.
Right. And how old would the child be?
It could be a teenager to a young adult.
Oh, I see. Okay. And, of course, there's no way we can find out what the cause of death was.
No, we don't even know what the cause of life is right now.
Right.
What cause of death. We don't have, there's not enough information. We don't have the entire skeleton. There's just... forensically, I don't think that there's any way of figuring out what the cause of death would be.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling what the information that could come out, and I think we'd have to rewrite a few of the textbooks, wouldn't we?
Oh yes, the textbooks would have to be rewritten. Science would be rewritten. Mm-hmm. My whole thought process has always been there is something so different about this. It's history making. No matter what we find out, it's history making. And what's going to come of this after we get the DNA studies done? The stuff that's going to come along after this, all the biomedical stuff that we're going to be able to do, it's just mind-boggling where we can go from here.
Right. And don't you think that once you've got the DNA proven that it isn't human, that other people will, and it becomes mainstream, then other organizations and people will get on board and they'll want a piece of it.
Yes. Oh, definitely. I mean, we've already had people wanting us to, basically forego proving what it is and just take the genetic material and start doing medical research and, pharmaceutical stuff to figure out, how can we take what we already know about this and make it beneficial to to us medically, and but we haven't gone that route.
Well, yeah, it's.
I don't want to give up everything to somebody who's just in it for profit.
Yeah, true. And we always come across that.
Yeah.
We do that constantly here at the station. They see a good thing and then they want to jump on the bandwagon.
Right.
To profit themselves.
Right.
Certainly not the people.
Well, we're not profiting, trust me on this. There's no profit to be had at this moment.
No. Well, it's the same here. There's no profit to be had. We don't have any sponsors. We say exactly what we want, and we are truth seekers. We just look for the truth, and give everybody a chance to bring it forward, and that's what it's all about.
Yes, that's exactly what it's about, and that's what I've always wanted. That's what I've always wanted this project to be about. It's not about proving, one way or the other what this, that this is alien, and let's just force everybody to believe in aliens. My whole process from the very beginning is if this is a new genetic defect that we're just now, that we found, it's a historical thing, then that's really cool from a historical standpoint. If it is alien DNA, that's even cooler as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
But the truth is going to be the truth, and there's nothing we can do to change that.
Right. And, I just sit back and almost laugh at the fact that, we've got, we're so close in this DNA thing. And it's just 75,000. It's not like you're not asking for 2 or 3 million to do it.
No, technically, when we started the project, it was going to cost $7 million.
Wow.
I mean, to hire out and out to get it done. But we're taking, how do you eat an elephant? Well, one bite at a time. So let's take it one bite and let's break it into pieces that can be done, that can be fathomable for, little people like me.
Right.
So $7 million is an awful big dollar sign for anybody to look at and think it can be done. But this we can do, and this we can do rather quickly, and we can get some results some way or another, and then we'll go from there. But it's going to take millions to get it done.
Well, over the long period, yeah. I can certainly see that. Zami in the chat has a question for you. Have you ever been approached by government officials to investigate this Starchild Skull?
No.
No? Okay.
Nobody from the government that I am aware of has come forward to help us, to not even to naysay us, or even, some people will conspiracy things. Not, in my opinion, have we ever been approached by government men in black or anything like that.
Right. Well, now as you get closer to the truth, you might, my dear.
I'm not saying that my phones haven't been tapped or anything like that. I wouldn't doubt that. But, in this day and age, Big Brother's probably listening all the time, so I just don't worry about things like that.
No, I don't think I would either. Onward and upward, and to heck with the others. I don't know if being on mainstream media would bring it to the attention to the right people either. I don't know.
Well, you never know. We've been on the History Channel. We've been on National Geographic. So we've been on some channels. UFO Hunters has had us. But we can't get on the Today Show, Oprah won't have us, Ellen won't have us, those type of people,
Right.
it goes to their credibility.
Hmm.
So I can understand that, but once the DNA comes in, then there'll be a major change.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Paradigm shift will happen.
yeah, and they'll all want to jump on the bandwagon, as I said
Yeah.
earlier.
Hmm.
They'll want a piece of it because then it will make news.
Right.
The big news word.
Right.
And yeah, it doesn't take long for stuff like that to happen. So tell us more about, let's say, the history that you know of. Where did it go from the time it was found? Like, was it found by a woman, you said?
It was found by a woman. I do not know her name.
Right.
I was never given her name. They've always wanted to remain anonymous. It was given to my friend who has requested that she remain anonymous, her and her husband.
Right.
And then it came to me. And those are the three owners that it's been those are the three people it's been through.
Right. Now, how many years ago was that?
We got it in 1999.
Wow. Wow. So it's been around for a while then.
Yes, my understanding is this lady died in her 60s and she got it as a teenager.
Wow.
So we're looking at about 70 years ago or so when she found it.
And you got DNA from it. That's amazing.
And we do have not just the mitochondrial DNA, which is the mother's DNA, but we have nuclear DNA as well. Because the teeth were found. We do have some teeth that were found with it. So we do have DNA, not just from the bone or just from mom. We do have dad's DNA also.
Well, that's good. They got a good basis to run from.
Yes. It's we have fragments now. We haven't been able to get the whole strand, but we do have reproducible fragments. And once we can, really get the lab on it full time, then it's a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. We should, if we can get the funding, if we can get enough people saying, "Here, take my $20, we'll take it." We get enough of that, then it shouldn't be more than a year before we have complete answers.
And you said you were on Indiegogo?
Indiegogo. Mm-hmm.
Right. And how's it? Oh, you're just launching
We're
that now.
just launching this next week.
Yeah. Okay. So we can't really say how much you've got in yet, but this interview that we're doing right now, we are taping, so
Okay.
I will send you a copy.
Okay,
And,
great.
And then you can spread it around to different places that they can actually see what we were talking about.
That would be great. Thank you.
And what about, I don't know actually what else to ask because we've covered so much already. I've been looking at different sites, and I know when we had Lloyd Pye and he was very, very hype about it. And I guess he's not very well, so that's why he couldn't make it on.
Yes.
But, I hope he still has his enthusiasm about it.
Well, he's really, really very, very ill, and he is still very, very enthusiastic about it. But his main concern and our main concern for him is that he get healthy and just take care of himself.
Right.
I've never wanted anybody on the Starchild team to, since we're all just kind of volunteering and doing the best we can with what we have, I've always really encouraged everybody to take care of themselves, because if we don't take care of ourselves, the Starchild will never go anywhere.
Right.
And if it hadn't have been for Lloyd and his go-gettedness, if you will,
Right.
We wouldn't be here today.
Right.
And
He's
can't-
certainly a go-getter, that's for sure.
yes,
And,
he is.
He's a wonderful person. We really enjoyed the interview with him when we did it. I think it was about a year ago that we did it. One of the problems here is I start forgetting. I'm getting old, I guess,
Yeah.
and crusty. But it's
Oh,
we've been 3 years doing these interviews, and we've had so many notable people on the show that a lot of them are dealing with this subject too, such as Stephen Bassett and Richard Dolan and different people
Hmm.
for disclosure projects, and
Yeah.
trying as hard as they can on their end to be able to do what they can to bring it to the forefront. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, Personally, yourself, do you think that have you ever had a UFO experience?
Um, well, I don't know anybody. If you're in this field, you don't know anybody who hasn't.
Right.
So definitely, we've seen things. We just came back from a conference in Presidio, Texas, where they were talking about the Mexico Roswell, and we went over to Marfa, where we went to see the Marfa lights. So yeah, I've seen things. There's no doubt in my mind that we're not alone.
Right. Well, there's no doubt in my mind either. We've been uh, into this for the last 3 years, and countless people have given testimony to the fact of UFO sightings, UFO abductions, and of course contact
Hmm.
in different ways. And it's very, I don't know. I never had one myself that I remembered. I put it that way, that I remembered, except a couple of years ago I had one, and it was just a big black rectangle with a yellow tube down each side that was like fluorescent, and it just flew over my house and off into the horizon and gone. And it moved very slow, but I was mesmerized by the whole thing, and my camera was sitting 3 or 4 feet away from me, and I didn't take a picture of it, just because it looked so normal. It looked so average. I was in that state of mind, and now I have had different situations that I think I remember, but it's like a past memory, isn't it? When you
I would think so.
yeah, when you take a look at a past memory, uh, and it's sort of half fogged up and stuff, such, then that's what the UFO experience is. And you look at it and think, did I really see it? I remember saying to myself, nobody will ever tell me I did not see this. Yet
Yeah.
I doubt myself that I did see it. Now,
I think it's kind of normal when it's something unusual like that we're like, did that really happen? Did I really see that?
yeah.
Yeah. It's not uncommon to do that.
BB says, does she assume they were a couple or maybe family members? Was there any assumptions on that?
Well, I think you can assume anything. The DNA shows that they were not related because we don't have any human mitochondrial DNA. So the mother nor the father is human.
Right.
Um, so I don't. They're not mother-daughter or mother-kid or anything like that.
Right.
Other than that, it's all speculation, and we can weave any story we want out of it.
Right. Right.
Um, but I don't know.
Yeah. It's just interesting they were found together like
They
that.
were found together, yes.
Yeah, but it could have been, somebody visiting from another planet.
Well,
Or,
and they could have been friends. Who knows?
yeah, right, right. And especially 900 years ago. I mean,
Yeah.
what do we know
Maybe,
what went on then?
who knows? Who knows what's going on in the mind of a human, much less in the mind of an alien.
Right? Yeah, that's for sure. Um, my co-host John is taking down questions from the chat because
Oh, okay.
I'm not quite uh, close enough to it right now. I'm going to move this over a bit if I can and see. Oh, just I'm playing with this. I'm multitasking.
Ah,
I'm
good for
so
you.
proud of myself for doing
I don't do that very well, so.
it. I'm not too bad at it. I'd like to be better, of course, but wouldn't we all?
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Okay. John is writing something. I don't know what you got for me, John.
I just wanted to ask Melanie, did you believe in UFOs before the Starchild Skull?
Yes.
Okay.
I have always, I just grew up knowing that this wasn't it. that we weren't it. Um,
I remember being out at our cottage, and I'll just make mention that our cottage burnt down um, when I was 10. So that was
mhm.
the end of that. So it was prior to me being 10 years old. And I remember being with my sisters and we were looking out on the stars. And I remember once saying to myself, I just want to go home. I don't like this place. And
I've heard that before.
yeah, um, but it's yeah, there's many different things happened over the cottage, and it was like bright lights in the uh, throughout the whole cottage. Uh, it just lit up inside, and it was the middle of the night, and I remember seeing that, but I don't remember any aliens. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's a common theme I've heard at some of the conferences I've been to,
Hmm.
that they don't have a whole memory of anything except for bright lights.
Right. Right. And you know, further on into our studies that we do here, and we've found out different things like you know uh, the slit theory and different theories on consciousness, and knowing that consciousness travels much faster than the speed of light, which I didn't know prior to doing these shows. What is it, 186,000 miles per second is the speed of light, and the speed of consciousness is 183 million miles per second.
Oh, that's
So,
interesting.
yeah, so it comes from, you can go from, let's say, the Orion system to Earth in a quarter of a second uh, in the conscious level. Now, consciousness, when you take a look at slit theory, is in waveform, and it's the conscious looking at it that changes it into particle or
Hmm.
the hologram that we're living.
Right.
And now, if you would just take a look at that for a while and think aliens coming to the Earth, if they were riding on a wave of consciousness and materializing, uh, you know, we got some phenomenal speeds there.
Oh, yeah.
Like they could travel all over this universe in fractions of a second. And,
Hmm.
but then mainstream, of course, is saying that if you go faster than the speed of light, you're going backwards or some stupid thing. So, you know, it's, I think we just, the Starchild Skull to me is another thing to look at and say, we're not darn smart after all.
No, we're not. And but we're getting there.
Oh,
We're
we're
getting
getting there.
there. Some of us are closer than others, so that's a good thing.
Well, again, it's a matter of being awake and aware, isn't it?
Yes.
And
And maybe
that's
that's
one of,
what Star Child is here for, is to wake up some people.
yeah, and maybe that's just a good way of putting it. And um, yeah, it's sometimes it's hard to grasp a new idea, and that's why I get a little bit upset with the corporations, because I really believe that this new world order and the corporations are running the planet, whether they be the corporation of the United States of America, which isn't a republic anymore, and or the corporations, you know, throughout our society, our global society. Um, we take a look at. They want us to stay exactly where we are. They don't want to rewrite history books. They want everything just nice and cushy, and you know I don't know.
Well, it helps maintain their power. And once they
Well,
lose that power, or the almighty dollar, then we've got then they fight harder to keep
yeah,
it.
right, right. Well, when you take a real good look at it, though, Melanie, uh, it it is all about the power. It isn't about the money per se. It's just a tool, because there is no money.
Yeah.
It's a
Hmm.
fabrication. There's only 3% of money printed. The stuff that you pull out of your wallet, that represents 3% of all monetary on this planet. So it's just a bunch of numbers in the ether.
Yeah.
And, you know, they, they really screwed up a system, Uh, you put $10,000 in the bank and they're allowed to lend out because of that 10,000, $100,000. Now, where is the $100,000 come from? It's just in the ether. It's
Yeah.
just a bunch of laws that they made, and now here's a bunch of money that doesn't even exist that they say they're giving you to buy your $200,000 home, but there's no money there. You
Yeah.
haven't really made a transaction of any kind. You just slipped a whole pile of numbers over from your bank account to their bank account and it means no sense at all. So I think the point I'm getting at is that we are coming into a global crisis of um, where all of this is starting to fall apart bit by bit by bit. And then we see, uh, you know, um, Indonesia going down, with the massive storms they've had there. We see Fukushima. We see horrible things happening on this planet that, they still play the same game. That's the point I'm trying to make. Uh, Telco or whatever it is over in the Japan is taking care of the problem, and they shouldn't be taking care of the problem. It should be a nuclear regulatory commission globally that gets together every country in the world, and we should rush over there to see if they can help these people. But the Japanese are taking care of it. Well, they're not doing a great job.
Well, I don't think anybody can do everything they should be doing.
Yeah. Well, under a system that we live in, I don't think that you know it's all credibility. Japan fixes a problem and they're the heroes, and that's what they're looking for. Well, it's no time for heroes anymore. It's time to get the job done, and
Yeah.
it's going to take a lot more people to do it than just the people that are over there. We got workers that we don't, but Japanese have workers over there that are uh, the workers themselves were toxic. Uh, you know, it's just a heck of a mess. And you know, uh, we take a look at a lot of the different prophecies. The Hopis and stuff like this, and um, I think it relates basically to the Starchild Skull too, because one of the Hopi prophecies says, "When the birds fall from the sky and the animals are dying, a new tribe of people shall come unto the earth, from many colors and classes and creeds, who by their actions and deeds shall make the earth green again, and they will be known as warriors of the rainbow." So that's the Hopi prophecy that came from them. And, you know, uh, just the possibility that, you people can prove that the existence of aliens on this planet at some given time opens up a whole pile of doors that we can take a look at everything a little bit differently.
Well, that's the whole. That's going to happen. There's just no way around it. We've all known that for years, at least for as long as I've been alive. We've known that sooner or later the world's going to have to come around and know that we're not alone. We've got to quit being so dadgum egotistical
Right, right,
and think that we're it on a stick, if you will.
right.
But and that's the Star Child's not going to prove that we're being visited today, but it is going to prove that at one point or another, 900 years ago, there was definitely something not human and not of this earth here.
Mhm.
But,
We do a lot of work with USOCS, an organization out of the States that it's a group of archaeologists, and I met them last summer,
mm-hmm.
and they were doing the research in Peru at the time, and that came from isn't that awful? Michipushu down to Casco and through the Sacred Valley, and there was some very notable gentlemen working on that, Bob Newton and Lard Stratton and Cremo, forget his first name, Klaus Cremo, and the Strong brothers, Evan and Stephen Strong from Australia. And there was just so much evidence of things that weren't in the history books that can't go into the history books. I know Stephen and Evan down in Australia, they have major problems right now because they have deciphered a lot of the hieroglyphs found in caves in Australia, proving that Nefertiti's and Akhenaten were in Australia at that given time, 5,000 years ago or wherever it was. And they look so much, they're identical almost to the hieroglyphs in Egypt, and telling a much different story, though, that they came on starships, basically, to Australia. Now, that they have problems with getting it out in the mainstream, of course.
Yeah.
You know, and they've been approached, let's put it that way, in different ways for their beliefs and what they have found. And, you know, the same with, you know, a lot of it. Rocket in the chat says, what species does she think the Starchild is?
I have no idea. I don't know of any species on this planet that it is, and I don't have a clue as to any other species that it might be.
Right. I know that what they're likely talking about is if you're into a lot of ufology, there's the Hyperboreans, there's the Aryans, there's the reptilians, there's the Greys, there's, you know, the different.
If you look at the skull, I can picture a gray being being part of this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anything that would look like a reptilian or any of the other types that I have seen.
Right.
But it could be a possible gray. It doesn't have the eyes don't look to be human, so it doesn't look like it would be one of the Nordic kind or anything like that. This is going to have some very unusual eyes. It has a very, very small face. The lower face is very, very small.
Yeah.
The cranium is the top of the head is heart shaped. So it's not the typical communion gray, if you will, but it's going to be somewhere in the middle of all of those.
Right.
So I you know, a Zeta Reticuli or whatever, you know, you're thinking about there, I don't see that. I don't see reptilian, definitely not an insectoid, or anything like that. But the possibilities are endless. It might, you know, I don't know. I really don't have, I'm not connected to that per se. I don't have an attachment to a species per se.
Right.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to ask you again to repeat your website and stuff, because we are, what number is that, John? 28?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went up to 28 on TalkStream Live. We broadcast through 55 networks to 149 countries, and the only way we can tell if we're doing good is that, like, there's about 95 different stations on the air right now on TalkStream, and we're up to number 28, so we're raising higher and higher as we go. So we got a heck of a show here. So we do have a very large audience right now, so maybe you can give the website out again.
All right, our website is www.starchild, STARCHILD, project.com. All one word, starchildproject.com.
And Indiegogo, how do we find you on Indiegogo?
If you will just go to our website, starchildproject.com, it will direct you straight to Indiegogo once that comes on board.
Yeah. Okay,
Again, we
great.
haven't started that process yet. We do have the availability to take donations even today, so we're not turning any money away.
Right, right. So there's a donation button on your page then.
There is a donation button. You can also, we need you to sign up, give us your email address, give us your Facebook page. Just become a fan, if you will.
Right.
We want to get the word out to as many people as we can. The more people that know about what's going on, the better off we're all going to be.
Right.
So when we do go massive, let's get the campaign, the money coming, then we can just shoot it out, and everybody can shoot, an email or Facebook it, tweet it, all that other cool stuff that's out there that I don't know anything about. We can get all that information out to millions of people. Think about it, if we got 7 million people to donate $1, this would be it.
Yeah,
that's all it takes.
Yeah. That's for sure. And
a 7-year-old can come up with $1.
Yeah.
These days.
Well, it's a matter of getting out there to the public, and a lot of them are afraid to even give up $1 today. But
well, I understand.
we're not asking for $1,000. We're just asking for, if you got $5, send it through.
$5. That's all we're asking, and we're not giving out any information to anybody else. We want your email address. We want you to sign up for our newsletters. Go on Facebook. Talk to us. We'll be glad to answer any questions on Facebook. You want to talk to any of us on Facebook, you can. My email is myoung@starchildproject.com. So you're welcome to email me directly. Just go through the website. It'll get to me. I check out Facebook every day. I get back onto Facebook, and I'll actually talk to you with my real name on there.
Right.
So I don't have a problem with that.
How many people are involved on your page? Like, how many people can you get?
We just hit the 1,500 mark.
Right.
Just recently. We've only been doing this for a couple of months.
Wow.
So it's slow. Now, Lloyd has a great fan base. Not all of them follow Starchild, but that's fine. To each his own, and we'll get everybody soon.
Yeah. Well, they'll come aboard.
Yeah.
And, what you need is something to go viral here. Like we need to say, "Oh yes, let's do it. Let's do it."
We are working day and night, getting more YouTubes out there, getting the word out there, trying to get to more conferences. If anybody has a conference, another radio station, anything, just contact us through the website. We will be there. Bells on.
Well, I know that the social media can certainly make it or break it, and in this case, people are always looking for answers. Here's their chance to get one of the major answers answered right now, and they just have to go to your site and join up.
Just go to our site, sign up. We don't, like I said, we don't ask for home addresses. We don't ask for your social security number. We don't need any of that.
No.
We just want a warm body that says, "Hey, we're interested."
Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people are interested, and it's just a matter of getting up and doing it. And,
that's right. It's just a matter of being conscientious, being willing to do your own research and your own work. Don't just take the word of me. Don't take the word of Wikipedia. Don't take the word of anybody else. Look at the facts. Look at what's there. You can come up with your own, your own explanation. But I can guarantee you, it's not going to be a normal human. There's just no way you can look at this and say anything that it's normal.
Right.
It's not a normal deformity. It's not anything I've ever seen. As a neonatal nurse working on the border, I've seen almost every genetic deformity that's come through, that's in the textbooks, and this is nothing like it.
Right. Well, Has anybody else found any skulls like yours?
People send us pictures all the time, and there are some that are similar, but I've not seen any that warrant this type of research. I'm not saying it's not out there. I can't imagine there wouldn't be another one out there,
Right.
but none that have come to our knowledge at this point. We do get a lot of people asking us, does this look weird? Does this, what do I do now? The first thing you do is you look at it. If it's really weird and you want to find out, take it to somebody who knows more than you do. And if you need any help or any guidance, you're welcome to contact us through our website, through our social media, and we'll be glad to direct you in the right direction.
Yeah, I know that some of the times that when we talk about different things here, they're a little bit controversy and conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And one of the things I always say is, as you had earlier, Google it, find out for yourself. And there's a lot of strange things happening. You can Google Starchild Skull and watch the videos, watch the
Oh gosh,
articles.
yes.
There's piles of it out there. And like I used to say, Google before you giggle.
Yeah, really, that's a good one.
Yeah, because I'd like to be able to grab a few of the CNN news reporters by the throat and hold on them for 5 minutes and say, scream in their face, Google before you giggle. Look it up. Try to find out a little bit more about it.
Educate yourself.
Yeah, educate yourself.
You can't trust anybody. You
No.
take everything with a grain of salt. Take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, but look it up yourself.
Right, right.
Don't believe everything you read on just one site. Don't believe everything you hear just one interview.
Right.
Check it out.
Yeah, look
I think
it up. And,
skepticism is a good thing.
oh, it is. It is. Because we all know that there's a bunch of bull, let's put it,
Yeah.
on the internet, and you have to sift through it. And if you don't Google it, then you're not going to sift through it. Go to 20 sites and take the best of it, and make up your own opinion. Don't take ours, for God's sakes. Look at your own.
Yeah, I think it's just, but if you look at the facts, if you look at our website, listen to any of the interviews, look at any of the YouTube stuff out there, take what's said on the internet, what's said on the website, what's said in Wikipedia, what's said against us, and look at it verbatim, word for word, line by line. There is no way you will come up with any other explanation except for we don't know.
Right.
But it's not human.
Right. Well, and that's one of the main points, isn't it? It's not human.
It's not a human. I've had one doctor say, well, then it's a mole. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I had somebody tell me it was a dog. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. And these were all people that when they first saw it were like, oh, no, this is definitely a gray. And then they thought, oh, they know my name. She knows who I am. Maybe I need to change my opinion. Yeah. So it was very interesting, and I just laughed in their faces when they changed their mind.
Oh, yeah.
But that's happened a lot to us. Somebody will look, you take it to, we took it to, Lloyd's taken it to colleges, to anthropologists, and he set it on their desk, and they look at it, this is alien. And he's like, really? And they're like, no, I didn't say that, did I? So, the first time you look at it and you know, your heart of heart knows, and then you have to try to figure out, okay, now how do I say that and sound sane? The only way to sound sane is to know the truth, and the truth is, we don't know, but the DNA will tell us. And we got to find that out.
Yeah,
you can't just stick your head in the sand this time.
Right. I've heard different excuses that their heads were boarded, and stuff like this. But it's just so obvious when you take a look at the skulls that it wasn't boarded.
Well, if you look at the skull, a cradle-boarded skull, when you lay it flat on its back, will sit straight, will lay flat on its back. This skull rocks and rolls.
Wow.
If it's cradle boarded, it will not rock and roll.
Right.
The skull that was found with the Starchild is cradle boarded. And you put both of them on their back, the normal human skull sits flat. The Starchild rocks and rolls.
Wow.
That's not cradle boarding.
No, that's for sure. And, we're going to wrap it up very soon here, Melanie. So
Okay.
let's do it once more. Another, your website is?
StarchildProject.com. Starchild, all one word. StarchildProject, all one word.com.
Okay, and you can donate through the page, or you can go over to Indiegogo, which is the link on the page. And, all we're really asking for is a $5, $10, $20 donation that can get this off the ground. This is very, very important, and it's something that we all should be looking at, because life here on planet Earth just isn't what they say in the textbooks.
No, it isn't. And we all live this life, and we all know this. We just may be afraid to say it. Well, I'm not.
No,
I'm not afraid to say it anymore.
Right.
It is time. And this isn't just going to start it. This is going to finish it. Your $5, $10 donation will finish and finally give us an answer to an age-long question. Are we alone? No. We're not alone.
Thank you so much, Melanie, for coming over to us today.
Thank you for having me.
And it's been a pleasure and an honor having you here at Project Freedom Radio.
I appreciate it anytime.
All right. Thank you very much. Good night, Melanie.
Good night. And that's been a 14-year, 15-year battle now.
I'll betcha. Eh? Anything new on that front?
Really new on, we're doing the DNA testing. The Fox P2 is very, very interesting. The significance of that new event, new findings are just phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And we have our new member of our team, Matthew Brownstein, and we're just chugging along, trying to get the funding, get more people interested, do the funding so that we can finish up this project. I really anticipate if we get the funding, from just a general population, we're just looking for $5, $10, $15, $20 person. We get enough of those people involved, then I suspect within the next year we'll have an answer.
Wouldn't that be great?
That will be great.
And what is the, how do I say it? What does it look like right now? Does it look?
The remains. There was a rainfall. Everything was washed away, and then the next day is all she could find were the skulls, and she brought them home.
Wow. So it looks like there might have been a humanoid or a human person with the Starchild at the time of the death, right?
At the time of at least at the time of the burial.
Yeah, right.
Assuming at the time of the death, it only makes sense.
Right. Wow, that's just so fascinating to hear the possibility of something outside this planet, still the remains still existing.
Considering it's over 900 years old, it is very fascinating.
Yeah.
Very promising.
Mm-hmm. I know that the work that you do is very, very important, because there's a lot on YouTube of giants and skeletons like this that have been proved to be hoaxes, and not all of them, of course, but a lot of them. So there's always that skepticism there that people look at and very interesting. But we have had Lloyd Pye on before, and he informed us of a lot that was happening with the Starchild Skull. But it's a real honor to have the actual owner of the Starchild Skull here with us tonight. And how did you ever come across being the owner of the Starchild Skull?
Well, that's a real interesting story. One of my girlfriends at work, her husband knew the person who actually found the skulls, both of them, in Mexico, so the story goes. And he had them, upon talking about my history with neonatal children as a nurse, he wanted me to look at it, and so I took a look at it, and he said, well, you know people who can handle it. Well, I just give it to you, get it out of my hair, and you figure out what it is. I said, thank you.
Like that there's a possibility that it's a deformed human?
No.
No? Okay.
I will tell you that definitively it has never looked like just a normal, if you will, a normal deformity.
Right.
It's been my experience, and well,
we're losing sound there.
can only survive with a minimum of 3 genetic deformities. And if you look at everything we're finding, the deformities that we are seeing, we have over 15 just structural deformities, and that's not counting the DNA variations in the FOXP2.
Right.
So there is no way that this could be a deformed human being at all. And I will stand behind that no matter what.
Right.
Until something proves me otherwise. But as we stand right now, there is no way this could just be a simple deformity.
You mentioned at the beginning of the program that there was 2 skulls.
Yes.
And what's the other one?
The other one is definitely DNA proves that it is a female. I don't remember what the age they say she was when she passed away, but it is a female human, genetically of the same genetic background as people of in Mexico, from the same haplo group from Mexico.
And these 2 skulls were found together?
They were found together, supposedly in a mine. The normal human complete skeleton was found laying on top of the ground, and out of a mound of dirt there was a deformed hand coming out of the ground, and they were kind of like holding hands, if you will. And the young lady dug up the small grave and found the entire skeleton, and the story has it that she says that it was completely deformed, unusual shaped, and she collected everything and was going to bring it home, but hiding the